There's something special about a snow day, and many across the country have certainly had a few of those recently as we're recording today in the heart of winter. And there are somewhat unexpected, maybe some memorable, and maybe some routine things about a snow day, and it might bring back some nostalgia for all of us as well. What we're going to do is borrow some of those classic snow day moments and help teach you a little bit about the financial world along the way. It's financial lessons from a snow day, a great combination. Let me throw a snowball at Ryan and get him in here, and we'll get started. Welcome to another edition of the Pilot's Advisor. Ryan, heads up. Snowball coming your way, my friend.
If anybody was wondering, Walter missed me by like a mile. Did you play baseball growing up? What happened, man?
Yes. I was a great fielder. Absolutely. I was a great thrower. Batting, not so much. Okay. Although you're right, I threw the snowball straight, and we're side by side on the screen, so it just went right through the screen of our viewers.
I was ready to juke, and then it was like
I need to throw it this way, or I don't know if I'm going to be on which side you're going to be on. Maybe that way.
So I don't know when people are going to listen to this, but we've just had that huge cold front that went across the whole country and affected everything. I'm in South Carolina, and we had snow and ice, and we're about to get hit again.
Yeah, back-to-back storms, and I've seen some stuff that next week, Ryan, there may be even another little thing on the way. So it's one of those 3 in a row kind of things.
I grew up in Ohio, and I live in South Carolina to get away from this. Like I'm not into this, so I thought it would be good for us to do this snow day thing. But man, this is horrible. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the hat here for today's episode. I can stay warm and get through this.
Love it. All right, we've got the Pilot's Advisor hat. We've got the Air Force snow beanie. We are ready to go for today's show, I think. I've got lots of great memories, Ryan, growing up. Now, you were talking about Ohio. I grew up in North Carolina, so not a ton of snows, but when they hit, they're usually pretty good snows. And so I've got some great memories of those big snows back in the day. Sledding down the big hill was obviously my favorite thing to do. When the big snows happened, we lived across the street from a country park, or a county park. We'd go over to the county park and great hills all throughout the park. It was just absolutely the best. So sledding was probably my highlight of any big snow day. I don't know about you.
Well, the big difference was with you growing up in North Carolina, if it snowed at all, you guys had school off because you guys didn't know how to handle it. It's like, oh my God, this is white stuff, everybody.
If it snowed on a Sunday, we weren't going back to school until Friday. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. I mean, my kids haven't been at school all week. It was like Monday's canceled, Tuesday's canceled, Wednesday's canceled. But anyway, at least in Ohio, we saw a lot more snow. I mean, the weather was, winter was winter then.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you get school off, everybody's out playing, sledding, building snowmen. I mean, it wasn't just sleeping in. You were out having a party.
I guess all the, homeschooling, like schooling from home or the remote schooling kind of ruins some snow days for some folks. Now there's not that true snow day. They kind of load you up with work, or what have you seen?
Well, they call it an e-learning day. I don't know about your kid, well, you have a little tiny boy that's not going to school yet. But,
not yet. We're not there yet.
But they have these e-learning days, like, online learning. No, it's not a thing.
It's not. Okay.
School's out. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So color with some pens and pencils, and then go play for the day. Gotcha.
Acting like we're actually having a school day, but we're really not.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to the financial lessons then. Sledding down the big hill. First thing I think about, going down, the best part. But Ryan, sometimes coming back up that big hill is the hard part. It's nice and smooth going down. It's worth the effort for the struggle to climb back up each time, but you might be slipping and falling and then backtracking a couple of feet. It's not like when my mom grew up, and she tells stories about the neighborhood snowmobile who would take all the kids and ride them back up to the top, and they got to run down that hill many, many, many times. If you're on your own 2 feet, you might only have a couple of good sleds in you before you're starting to wear out a little bit. But I got to imagine there's a good financial connection somewhere in there.
Yeah, I can definitely connect that. I mean, my own personal experience, I feel like you got to put in the work to get results, right? And I think that we're able to look at that a lot with sports. You weren't just going to be good. You had to put in the work. You had to go to the gym. You had to work for it. And I think that it's healthy to work for something to get that gratification later. I think trudging up that hill is going to allow you to have a great retirement later, and having the assets or the money to go out to dinner and go on nice vacations. And I think, unfortunately, we have a little bit of a generation, that instant gratification, just give me the good stuff, and
Yeah.
not any of the pain, is a little bit of a problem with the new generation, which makes it tough, because I don't think saving and investing is a hard thing. I think it's pretty exciting, but you got to put in the work, meaning you actually got to let your money work for you.
Yeah.
So, and I know spending's fun too, but compounding interest is really cool.
Yeah, no, great points, and easy to see the connection there with sledding down the hill. That's retirement, right? We work hard throughout our working years to then enjoy that retirement and see all that hard work pay off. So,
Well, and I kind of look at it like the work week. I mean, I don't,
Mm.
they call it
Oh
work
yeah,
for a reason. I don't love working all week, but then at the weekends, right? Then you get the weekend, and how much better are the weekends if you worked your butt off all week long, and
yeah,
then maybe you can spend a little bit more money because you worked hard. You work hard, play hard, right?
yeah. Yeah, maybe sledding is the ultimate microcosm of work hard, play hard, right? Work hard
Yeah.
getting up the hill and then enjoy it on the quick way down. That's pretty about the same proportion of work to weekend time as well. Kind of a little bit longer on the work side going up, but and a little bit quicker on the way down, but fun nonetheless. What about rolling a snowman? Was that something you got into, or building a snowman? Something you got into when you were a kid?
Do you remember those days when you had just the perfect sticky
Yeah,
snow,
yeah,
where you were like rolling a snowball, and it wasn't just the snowball, like it was almost like you were rolling a rug,
yeah.
where it was rolling like outside of where you were even rolling because it was so sticky, and it
Yes.
would just get
Great description. You're absolutely
huge. Like,
right.
yeah, it was almost like you were rolling a rug because it got bigger and bigger, and it was
Almost
going out
harder to roll
wider.
the ball because it's so sticky. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have to almost reshape the ball because it was actually getting into like a square.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are good
so
snows. Out here
I
in
love
Colorado now, Ryan, we just get the dry powder, so it's real hard to make snowmen out here.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what you get. Sometimes you get that nasty slush. I went to school out there,
Yeah, I
Front
know.
Range. I
You
know.
know it.
I know it very well. I know it very well. As a matter of fact, I might be seeing you a lot more. I think my daughter's number one choice is still the Air Force Academy,
Oh,
and
very cool.
we'll find
Okay.
out probably here in the next year or so. But
Well,
it's
keep us
still,
updated on that. That's very cool.
yeah. She just took a visit to the Citadel. Charleston's not far from us,
Nice.
and the Citadel's been recruiting her for soccer, so we just did that, which was cool. But yeah, I still think she's got that Air Force in her. So
Very cool.
um,
Unfortunate
anyway,
for
back to
her.
the snowball. Back to the snowball. I think that this is an awesome metaphor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
I
I mean,
just
it's your favorite thing. You already hinted at it.
the power of compounding interest, and
Yeah.
it's so hard to see it. I mean, it's what I like to tell my clients is, like, let's say you made 10% on your money. Well, if you only have $100, it's not very exciting. You made $10, but the compounding effect of that is now you have 110, right?
Yeah.
But even then, if you have a little tiny snowball, that's not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But think about if you have $1 million saved. 10% of $1 million is $100,000 that you get for doing nothing in 1 year because you put in the hard work and built that snowman. So now you got $1,100,000, and then it compounds. So what happens is it takes a long time to get to $1 million, but 2 million comes really fast, really fast. And then guess what? 4 million pops on there. And so it gets more and more exciting the bigger your snowball is, but you got to put in that early work. You got to climb that hill. You got to push that snowball and get it bigger. But once you get that bigger snowball, you see the power of compounding interest, which is just amazing. And I think I just don't think you see it early in life. You start seeing it later in life, and it makes you even go, man, I wish I would have saved more in my 20s.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Really, just me at least. Wasn't it Albert Einstein that had some comment about compounding interest being the eighth wonder of the world?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that quote's credited to him. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean it truly. Once you see that compounding of a larger entity later on, it's mind blowing. I love it. I love it. It gets me excited. Investing
Very
is
nice.
fun.
I don't know if the next one will relate to compounding, but before we turn the page to that one, if you are wanting to plan a little bit better for your financial future to discover that power of compounding, or if you have been discovering that power over your working years, but now you're starting to wonder as you get closer to retirement, what do I do? How do I reverse this now and pay myself out? What's the best way to do that? How do I withdraw? What is the right way to go about this whole retirement thing? Well, that's where Ryan really specializes in helping pilots get to retirement, of course, but then those first couple of years after it, and then all the way through it, that long-term view, making sure that you are making the right decisions. If you'd like to talk with Ryan a little bit more about your particular situation, very easy to do that. All you have to do is click the link in the description of today's show. That'll take you to where you can order the retirement toolkit specifically built for pilots with Ryan's books, some great resources, and more information. Again, all you have to do is click the link in the description, get that toolkit. It'll also qualify you for a free portfolio analysis one-on-one with Ryan and the team, where they'll be able to then really dive under the hood and take a look at what's going on with your finances and have that conversation with you about your goals and how to accomplish them. So check that out. All right, Ryan, this next thing might be hard for you and I to do. I know it's hard for me to do, and you just strike me as the kind of guy that likes getting in the car and going out in the elements to explore a little bit. But the common wisdom is probably to stay put and you stay safe, especially if the roads are pretty icy. Even the best drivers have trouble controlling their cars and their vehicles, in snow and especially icy conditions. I got to imagine that financial storms is the connection here, right? And it's trying to stay safe in the storm.
Yeah, we can make that connection. I think I've gotten better at this as I've gotten older, where I think I agree that I used to want to go out there and play and see what's going on and see how many trees are down and
see if I can do some donuts in the parking lot.
Oh yeah. See how, watch my car slide a little bit. That was always kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better at this as I've gotten older. And when I think about investing, it's investors want to do something at the worst possible time. We know market volatility is going to be out there. It's just a matter of when it's coming. And the market, has a correction or a 10% pullback, and investors panic. At that point in time, they feel like they have to do something. And it's that whole short-term emotional decision where you do the exact wrong thing when you just need to stay put and not do anything. Or I like to use the analogy that, if you're flying an airplane and you hit turbulence, you don't just jump out the window. You got to ride it out, right? It's there. You got to ride it out. So just hang on. And those that do that and have that discipline and ride out the storm and stay safe, they get those long-term returns that a portfolio is that's going to realize for you. That it's engineered to handle that volatility or those snow days or that ice storm or what have you. But unfortunately, investors are their worst enemy, and they tend to want to do something at the exact wrong time. And I think that snowstorm would be it. Hey, running outside, not having any food or water,
Yeah. And that's the problem. People go out in the storm without any tools to help them if they get into some trouble. I try to always go out with chains for the tires, always in the back of the truck. And we've got warm blankets, always bring in extra bottles of water and food and flashlights and additional gloves and jackets and all the stuff, and shovel just in case I need to get out of a jam. But a lot of people don't have those things when they go out in those storms, and that's where you're calling emergency services and getting in trouble.
Well, that's a great analogy too, is just having enough diversification in a portfolio. So regardless of what's going on in certain asset classes or even certain countries, you're still good because you have your money spread out. In 30,000 unique positions, 40 some countries. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what's going on with U.S. large cap stocks here. And I think that happened last year. I mean, U.S. stocks weren't doing very well. So if you're all in U.S. large cap, all in the S&P, you weren't very happy. But if you had a portfolio that was diversified, international stocks did great last year. So anyway, if you are going to go out in the storm, make sure you're prepared and make sure you're diversified and you have all the stuff that Walter has in the back of his truck.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Prepare like it's the end of the world, right? The apocalypse truck is what we're prepping there.
You're in Colorado and you have to do that because the weather changes every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I used to hate watching on TV where, Susie and Joey or whoever it was went out hiking. And the next thing you know, they were stuck out. They didn't have any water. They didn't have any clothes, for the storm that just came in.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful with it out there hiking on the Front Range.
You get surprised and it starts snowing and hailing on you, and temperature drops 30 degrees in 5 minutes.
The middle of the summer.
Yeah. And it's the middle of the summer, and you're like, what? So a lot of people don't know that lesson. I am, speaking of kind of being prepared for the weather and from a more personal standpoint, I'm the king of shorts, Ryan. I love wearing my shorts. So dressing in layers is hard for me. Not my strong suit. There's lots of pictures of Connie in like 15 layers next to me in shorts and a t-shirt. We've got like a whole album of photos of us juxtaposed with how we dress.
Are you that guy that it's snowing out and you're in shorts?
Yeah, I was actually out in it in my flip-flops the other day, and the sun was out. It was post-storm, so it was kind of warm. But I'm a little crazy when it comes to snow like that.
I'll have to give a shout out to my nephew Jackson Nutter, because he is the worst. He grew up in Aurora, up in Denver.
Yeah,
and that kid, I don't think he ever I've never seen him with pants ever.
Yeah, yep.
And it would be freezing out, and he would have shorts on all the time. All the time.
I'll wear pants to church, and if we're snowboarding, then I'll put some pants on because I'm going to be falling all the time and definitely need them at that point. But that's about the only time.
Basically, when you're forced to.
Yeah, pretty much. So
since you're doing podcasting and all that, you do have at least shorts on right now, right?
Do you think I really have pants on under this desk?
No, I don't want to think about it. Oh Lord.
I do have shorts on. We
just lost all of our listeners with that one comment, and then everybody started having this horrible visualization.
I'm sorry.
Everybody's off the podcast, just like that.
Got to be careful what you say. Oh my goodness.
We were doing pretty good too, Walter. We started getting all these followers and stuff. I mean, we had a lot of people listening to us, and then
now they're all gone. They're all gone. Oh, I got to somehow bring that back into a financial comparison here. But yes, dress in layers. Be comfortable as the conditions change. I don't know. Give me a financial lesson out of dressing in layers.
I think you kind of hit on it. I think diversification comes into that. So we have our risk spread out. I think that different pots of money, different types of investments. And I really think going into retirement, that's half of it. And the analogy I like to bring back to airplanes, I know we're talking about layers for the snowstorm, but for airplanes, it's we want redundancy. We want different systems in place so that if hydraulic system number 3 goes out, it's okay. We're going to be all right because we have a design. We've designed a portfolio that can handle any of those conditions, and it's ready for it. So I think having a well-diversified portfolio, having layers, having different pots of money, having a bucket strategy in retirement, all those things, you got to prepare for the worst. If you don't prepare, then you can't handle the changing conditions.
Yeah, it's a great point. You got to be prepared for the temperature to drop, the temperature to go up, the market to go up or go down or stay the same. You've got to have plans that fit into that. I imagine as a pilot, right, and with planes, these things are built to have a billion different fail safes and operate in lots of different environments, and they give you the tools to constantly adapt and change. That's just like dressing in layers. It's just like diversification, so that you can have something that's doing well in your portfolio during a bad time for something else. I mean, that makes tons of sense.
There's a couple of things I see with investors too that I just want to talk about. And that is, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is people not being aggressive enough. Like time factor is the biggest factor, but you gotta let your money work for you. And there's this whole thing right now of when the market's at an all-time high or things are really good, people are panicked and they want to, they create in their mind because of the short-term noise that there's going to be this huge crash. And, a mentor of mine, a very smart guy, he always said, don't fight the trend, man. If the market, first of all, you have to have all-time highs to continue to have the market go up. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of an all-time high. That just means the market's doing what it's supposed to do. But rather than fighting the trend, jump on there and ride it. Ride that wave. Don't fight it. Ride the wave.
Attention aviators, when you've spent years in the cockpit managing the complexities of flight, isn't it time you navigated your retirement with the same precision? Introducing retirepilots.com. Right at your touchdown zone on our homepage, there's a beacon flashing, "Get my free toolkit." Click that and you'll be cleared for a direct route to Ryan's retirement toolkit, tailor-made for pilots like you. Inside, you'll find 2 of his important works, The Pilot's Advisor and Pilots Retire Early. Between these two books, you can decipher the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65 and discover the 7 lessons to help pilots land safely in retirement. But that's not all. This toolkit is packed with altitude-high value, including extras to get your retirement plans off the runway and light the afterburners on your 401k. Vector on over to retirepilots.com to grab your toolkit, and let's embark on this journey together.
Wise words. Speaking of riding the wave, when it comes down to a snow day, at some point, we just got to enjoy it, right? They can be unexpected. We can have a little bit of a warning that they're coming. But, when those storms hit, especially now that you live in the South and I grew up in the South and anybody else in those regions knows, it's not quite like Maine or some of the northern states where the snow sticks around a while. It's only going to be there for a little bit. So get out and enjoy it and try to be flexible. This sounds kind of crazy, but I guess back in the day, when I was a little bit younger and still snow obsessed, I would try to take a paid day off at work if I saw that a storm was coming, so I could not be stuck inside working and could go out and enjoy the snow. So planning for it and being flexible and trying to have some of that freedom. And I think a lot of that needs to also ring true for pilots and folks that are approaching retirement. And you work so hard when you get to retirement, you got to go out and enjoy it, right? And that's a tough transition for some folks.
It actually is. And I think those of us that are a little bit type A and I don't want to say we like to work, but that's just a part of our purpose in life, is to be productive. It is hard. And this snowstorm for me has been a little hard just because sitting around for multiple days in a row at the house, not leaving, not going and doing something is difficult. Thankfully, I have a back injury right now, so I'm not moving too much. But yeah, watch the snowfall, brew up that cup of coffee, that hot cocoa, whatever it is, and sit back and enjoy it. And yeah. I think that with investing, retirement is that much sweeter when you worked hard, you did all the right stuff, you saved. You put in all that work so that you can enjoy those go-go years, sit back, travel with your companion, and not worry about finances, not worry about money, because you get in that backside of when you put in all that work, you're not worried about running out of money because you've already got that compounding interest working for you and life's good.
Yeah. My final thought is that snow days don't last forever, but the memories that they create certainly do. And I think it's the same with finances and building toward retirement. Your working life, retirement, we know it's not going to last forever, but we can create some awesome memories with good, solid planning. It's going to give us freedom. It's going to allow us to have fun on those days. We're going to be ready when the conditions change, all the things that we've talked about here, Ryan. So go out there, build those memories, save hard, play hard, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, and I just look at that and I think about just making a little bit more sacrifice day to day right now, saving just a little bit more. Will make all the difference in the end when you're in retirement or nearing retirement, and you're on the better side of that curve where you're not trying to play catch up. And it's really sad when people are trying to play catch up before retirement because they didn't put in the work early, because it just doesn't work the same way.
Yeah,
that time factor's gone.
Ryan, let's take a lesson from our show that we've just recorded. You got snow on the way, so go get ready for it. Enjoy it with the kids, and hope it's a good time. Don't be all bah humbug about the snow.
Did you just throw another snowball at me?
Are you over here? Or maybe you're over here.
Yeah. Well, that'll be a good closing. I'm going to go hunker down for the next snowstorm that's coming in, and then just imagine going out in the snow. And you remember those snowball fights where you'd have all your buddies and you'd be winging snowballs at each other?
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I think about.
Go out there and do some of that. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again right back here on The Pilot's Advisor. Take care.
See you.
Information is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action.